Hello and welcome to another exciting video. In this one, we'll see what it means to curry a function. Then we'll walk through some of the examples of curried functions and their use cases. Now over here you can see that we have this function called add, which takes two parameters x and y, and then it adds them together. We further have another function called increment, and this takes one parameter, and over here it makes use of the add method, and the value over here for x is predefined as 1, and then the variable y is provided over here. Finally, over here we are making use of the increment method and we are passing 2 to it. So what will happen is that 2 will be placed over here, and then the add function will be called. 1 plus 2 will be added together and the result will be shown over here. So if I save this now and run it over here, you'll notice the output coming up as 3. Now if you look at this function that we have over here, increment y, so it kind of returns a new function over here. So it makes use of the add function, and over here we have a predefined value to it, and then it is returning this increment function. So the idea of preloading a function with some argument to create a new function, that technique is called curry. So here we are doing that. We are currying this increment method because it is predefining the add with a predefined value, and then it's returning a new function that's called increment, and then it's being executed over here to show the result. Now we can further simplify this. Let's comment out this whole implementation over here of these two lines, and what we can do is we can take this add method first, and over here instead of passing these two together, what we'll do is we'll pass x first and then we'll pass y, and finally we will be adding them together like this. And with increment, what we'll do is we'll make use of the increment again, and this time we'll be calling the add method, and here we'll have the value 1 predefined. So increment takes the value of x over here, that was the predefined value, and then it returns a function. Now that function increment over here takes another parameter 2, and it will then be passed over here and it will be added together. So now if I go ahead and run this one, let's go ahead and execute this, you'll still notice that the result is coming up as 3. So to summarize, we have this add method. Now this code defines a function called add that takes a parameter x and returns another function that takes a parameter y. Now the inner function adds x and y together. If you come on to the next line, const inc, that's the increment. This one is being created by calling the add function with an argument of 1. Now this results in inc being a function that adds 1 to its argument. In other words, inc is a partially applied version of the add function with x fixed at 1. When we are calling this one const res inc2, since inc is essentially add 1, calling it with 2 is equivalent to adding 1 and 2 together, and the value of res, as we can see, comes out to be 3. So the overall effect of the code is to create a curried function that's called add, and then use it to create a new function called inc that always adds 1. The result is obtained by calling this new function inc with an argument 2, resulting in the result 3. So I hope that this has cleared the concept of currying in JavaScript.